Good morning. Welcome to episode 80. Episode 83. Episode 83 of the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Wright, coming to you from the beautiful, comfortable, and cool confines of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Wherever you may be watching or listening, I thank you as always. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel. You can check the show out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and as well as on Substack. And if you're a big fan of Apple, or if you have an Apple iPhone, check out Apple Books. Check out any of the latest music and songs that you're into on Apple Music and iTunes, and wherever Apple products may be sold or purchased. Definitely check out the show on Apple Podcasts. Looking for quick and unlimited access to the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast? Well, look no further than on Apple Podcasts. Listen to the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast on Apple Podcasts. QR code is available for quick access to the channel. Also, check us out on Spotify as well. Thanks. Have a great day. I thank you as always for watching, guys. Like I said, hopping into this episode, we're gonna be doing it. This episode's gonna be pretty much dedicated to the Bird game. Fly Eagles fly. Um, yeah, pretty much talking about the results from Week 6 and preparation for Week 7 against the New York Giants. Very excited about the win from last week against Cleveland. I know it wasn't as sexy as some people may have wanted, though the wins aren't measured by sex appeal; they're measured by wins and losses, literally. So, that being said, it was good to hear Jalen Hurts starting out on first segment. Hearing Jalen Hurts talk about how him and Nick Sirianni had some great moments during the bye week. As far as that reflected within the game against Cleveland, the offense still sputtered, still didn't score, in the first quarter, which is horrendous. And it's a franchise record at this point that they haven't scored any points in the beginning of games, pretty much starting out slow. Not good at all. Jalen definitely played better. I loved how Jalen played in that game against the Browns. And then you had Sirianni arguing with fans, which kind of didn't really help the cause. That kind of distracted away from the game. But hey, you know what? If he's the distraction and they're not focused on the team and the team's allowed to more or less gel and become even more cohesive and band together, like I said, I don't really give a shit. As long as he's winning games, as long as his team's in contention, as long as he's doing the job he needs to do as a coach, I really don't give a shit less if he argues with the fans. Not every Eagles fan knows what the fuck they're talking about. Not every Eagles fan knows football. A lot of them will still tell you that A.J. Philly was the quarterback that got him to the Super Bowl when, that wasn't the case. Or they'll tell you that Jeff Garcia filled in for Donovan in the Super Bowl year. So I tend not to, like I said, I love my Birds, love them to death, but I tend not to argue with a bunch of, other fans because, again, we're fans of the same team. Why the fuck are we arguing? But at the same time, like I said, now everybody's going to have their own different opinion, and you can't really force people to see what you see. Everybody's vantage point is different. So, be that as it may. Next segment, we're going to hop into the injury report for this week. Breaking news to reveal for you. I just found this out actually a couple hours ago, but Sidney Brown has been activated off the PUP list, so it looks like he'll definitely be getting some touches and some burn this week. Jalen Hunt activated back at practice, got off the injury report. Looks like he's getting more burn. And Anais Smith, punt returner / wide receiver from Texas A&M, rookie, was activated as well, was getting some touches. It was great to hear those guys' names. Great to see these guys are going to possibly get some burn and some reps and some time. Interested to see how Jalen Hunt plays. Sidney Brown, I know with Sidney Brown, I know if he's playing well, he's going to make plays, be around the football. But I'm really very much excited to see how Jalen Hunt plays. And if he can give us anything, like I said, sky's the limit there. Now, on the flip side of that, injuries that we are to be concerned about. As it has been well documented and well reported now, Dallas Goedert will not be playing in this game Sunday against the New York Giants. Heartbreaker there, but it's going to be a moment for Grant Calcaterra to step up. I'll touch on him in a little bit. Jordan Mailata, injured, hamstring injury. They put him on IR. He's going to be out for a couple weeks. Another big loss, but Fred Johnson. guy who's come in and played amicably well for the team this year. He's going to have to come in and do his job and play decently. Without that, not really sure how things are going to play out. Because Jalen's going to definitely need that left side protected if this team's going to have any shot at really, blunting that Giants pass rush. Because make no mistake, though the Giants are limited offensively, I do expect Malik Neighbors to be back for this game, so he's going to be a problem for us to contend with. And ultimately, they're going to still try to run the ball even when it's not working. So I got to give Dayball credit for that. But yeah, their defense is not anything to like fucking scoff at. Like, they really have been attacking teams. They're one of the better blitzing defenses this year. Their front line gets a lot of pressure. So it's not going to be an easy matchup for this Eagles offensive line, especially missing a guy like Mailata out of the lineup. But I feel like a week of work for Fred Johnson is going to do a lot of justice for him. And I'm hoping more or less it does, because we're going to need him to step up big. If Jalen's going to make the plays that we need for us to, for any Eagles fan, more or less to see this team win, Fred Johnson's going to have to play outstanding. So. Also, too, Darius Slay had missed some time, was kind of limited throughout the week with a knee injury. He missed a day or so and kind of sat out, more or less precautionary measure. I still think he's kind of just maybe age and attrition. It's all kind of piling up for him now, but he's been injured. He kind of got injured late in that Cleveland game, and knee's still kind of bulky, so we'll see how everything goes. Pretty much probably be a game time decision going into that game in the morning. Later in the afternoon, excuse me. Jalen Carter was battling with a shoulder injury. He kind of sat out earlier in the week. I saw that he also came back to practice, so looks like he'll be a game time decision as well. But, this thing you kind of worry about, though, late in the middle to the end of the season, the injuries will start piling up, the attrition. You just kind of hope that you can weather the storm, pull out some victories, get these guys back healthy, and then make your stretch run, and then, go for it all later. But, ultimately, as long as these guys are relatively healthy and, they're in most of these games, they're going to have a shot to win them. It's just they can't rest on their laurels and they can't half-ass it no more. They're going to have to execute at a high level if they're really going to want to be where they want to be late in the year, especially in January or February. Next, I wanted to hop on and more or less give props to the young boy Cooper DeJean. Thought he played phenomenal against Cleveland. Watched some different film from him. Like I said, shout out to Cody Alexander from Substack. He has some great footage. You guys, anybody that watched the show that's on Substack and that likes film and is a film aficionado and loves watching good defensive tape or tape period, definitely check out Cody Alexander's page. I watched it, and I watched a lot of film on Cooper DeJean and how he was used, and Vic Fangio used him in different blitz packages and different coverages, things like that. And he's definitely taking over the nickel spot. Avonte Maddox had his turn in the sun. I think he had an opportunity in his defense, and it failed for him. So, yeah, Avonte Maddox is definitely going. After what I saw, the kid doesn't grab a lot, disguises blitz as well, and sound tackler. Yeah, Avonte Maddox is not getting that job back. And this will be more than likely his last year as an Eagle, but as we know, things like this run its course. But shout out to Cooper DeJean and how he's playing. And not to mention, his kids also done some punt return duties for the team, too, so definitely good to see that. This next part talks about the kind of the release of Devin White and what it means, or what does it say or doesn't say for the new Eagles young linebackers. As far as this game from this past week, they played decent. Nick Dean still had some missed tackles. I think it was like 3 or 4 that I definitely did not like, but the young linebackers played well. Trotter, when he had gotten in for a couple plays, he kind of made some plays. I'll touch on him in a second. Something that happened with him. Play that eventually got called back. But like I said, I thought the linebackers as a whole played solid as a unit. I like what I was hearing. I like the communication. They were getting downhill. They were attacking. So fundamentally, I liked everything that I saw, and was definitely happy to see that Vic Fangio gave the young guys the opportunity to try to sink or swim, because ultimately, the future of this franchise is going to be hinged upon them and what they do or don't do. So, love the fact that he did that, and it was definitely a confidence boost for Nick Dean, and he's been playing like it ever since. Next, I want to hop on one of the other young linebackers. Like I said, touching on Jeremiah Trotter. he has been promoted due to the Devin White release, which I thought was great. I think he's kind of like, he made some plays during the preseason. He played well on special teams so far up to this point. I think he's kind of like earned it. However, he did kind of make a mistake. He came in briefly in the game against Cleveland. They had a penalty that, it's crazy because a penalty, had to be a penalty. It's weird because, again, the way they called it, it looked like he got a good tackle or a good sack on the play, but however they called it a penalty, said he kind of sacked the guy, grabbed him, or, grabbed him the wrong way, led to a personal foul, whatever. Nonetheless, they called it back, but I thought Trotter looked great on that play, the way he was attacking the line, attacking, getting pressure. I liked what I saw. So we'll see. We're gradually going to have to see more and more because, again, with Devin White being gone and these guys in the rotation and how Zach Bond's been playing well, it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out. But definitely like the little brief bit that I did see from Jeremiah Trotter. Hopping right into this next segment, as we all know, this is the return of Saquon back to the Giants. The much ballyhooed return of, Saquon Barkley, a.k.a. the former prodigal son of the New York Giants, which is kind of weird because, like I said, I kind of feel like it's fucked up that you hear people talking about booing him or knocking him, but yet, he was really been the only legitimate offensive threat that you've had, because your quarterback sucks ass, but I digress. Nonetheless, like I said, I'll show you here the comments that Saquon had about the game. But nonetheless, I think Saquon's he's going to have a good game. Now, here's the thing, though. In my personal opinion, how I think things are going to play out. I think they're going to use Saquon a couple of times for a lot of diversionary shit. I think that they know that the defense is going to be expecting Saquon to want to touch the ball and definitely get ingratiated. And I know they're pretty sure Philadelphia's going to try to want to establish the run early. If I'm Philly, I definitely want to stick to that game plan, but I'm all for using Saquon as a decoy to open up other guys within the offense and then later on, come back to him in certain spots because I just feel like this game they're trying to make it Saquon versus the Giants and they're trying to rig it a certain way, but it just seems like this team might be a little bit more focused than what they're giving them credit for right now. And again, I understand. The defense has been inconsistent. The offense has been inconsistent. Granted, injuries, guys in and out of the lineup, but it's been a lot of inconsistency. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see how that all plays out, how it all shakes. But Saquon will be returning back to the Meadowlands, first time as an Eagle. So definitely stay tuned. Like I said, it's going to be a 1 o'clock game. So definitely make sure you're posted up and watching that. I know I will be. And then rounding up this episode about the Eagles prep for Week 7 and review from Week 6. We're going to be discussing how good Grant Calcaterra could be with Dallas Goedert being out. Especially now we know Dallas Goedert's going to be out for a while. He had a decent game last week, but he would definitely need to continue that to make it grow. I believe he had like 4 catches, 67 yards. It's interesting because Grant Calcaterra, the real knock on him is really he's not a blocker. Good pass catching tight end, can definitely run decent routes, can get open, can get yards after the catch. Little bit of obviously definitely a modern tight end, but the blocking has been something that he's definitely struggled with. So it's going to be interesting to see, especially playing again a defense that can attack, knowing that Goddard's not there, so you don't have the blocking tight end. How Calcaterra is going to be utilized within the offense. Very interested to see that. But Kellen Moore likes him a lot. And he mentioned him during the offseason. He mentioned him during the preseason. And obviously he's getting touches during the regular season. So we'll see. But I think that he's definitely going to be a focal point tomorrow if this team's going to want to, definitely try to pull away and win this game at some point. And obviously Calcaterra's chemistry with Jalen Hurts is a plus. Playing with him at Oklahoma, knowing how he likes, knowing where Jalen likes to throw the ball, knowing he likes to be in those spots. Just kind of adds more or less to the recipe, adds to the mix of what's already going on. So I'm ecstatic. Like I said, that Eagles-Giants game will be 1 o'clock tomorrow, or 1 o'clock in the morning today, excuse me. Definitely make sure you check it out. Like I said, Bird game will be full effect. I'll have an instant reaction video for after the game talking about the reaction from the Eagles-Giants game and some of the other games that I'll be watching. But as always, guys, I love you guys for definitely always plugging in and watching the show, commenting, like I said, like, sharing, and subscribing. I thank you. Definitely make sure you enjoy that early game tomorrow. It's going to be Jaguars and Patriots in London. Take care, enjoy, and happy weekend. Go Yankees, and we love football.